My name is Very Reverend Archimandrite Nektarios Serfes. I'm from Boise, Idaho, which is near the coast of California and Oregon, and below Montana. So I called Father Saba, who was then a monk here, and he was on the internet, and I saw information that there was a great humanitarian crisis. So what I did was I called him to say, we must establish some kind of humanitarian organization to help you and your fam and the people in the area and the region. And he said, yeah, this would be great. So we called it the Decani Monastery Relief Fund. Then was Bishop Theodosio, who was Archimandrite. He was the head of the monastery, and he eventually, I eventually met him. I came here back in October of 1998, even when it was very dangerous. I was under heavy security. AK-47s were protecting me, not one person, but 6 people. I was in army trucks all over Kosovo, bouncing all over the place, in a very stressful situation for the monks and for the people. Even to get to the villages was very dangerous in those days. As far as I'm concerned, is it still dangerous? Well, there's still a humanitarian crisis here, so I think it's still horrific here. I'm not satisfied that is there any improvements? No, I don't see. I see some improvements, but there needs to be more improvements because there's still a lot of people suffering and struggling and very hungry, and also very cold. And also medically, I'm very worried about those who are medically have been ill and what will happen to them in the future when they need to go to the hospital. I mean, there's still a lot of humanitarian good works to do here. Therefore, I hope and pray that will happen. So then I formed a board of directors, but it took me about 10 years to get a nonprofit. And so money started coming from America, the people from America, and then we started to send money here through the banks of Belgrade. Today, though, in this new century, you can now send your money through the computer, and the computer will tell you you have money, which is good because the people get it quicker. So we are doing that. You don't see them like you see the children in America have great weight. The children, I've never met a child that looked really physically well to me. I've been coming here for 10 years, and I can tell you, I worry mostly about the children. Even the youth, they don't even look strong. They look weak, and I am very concerned about that. I'm very also concerned whether or not they're going to have 2 meals a day or 1 meal a day or no meal a day. And where is that meal a day? Sometimes in the school. And what is the school giving you? Bread and soup. That is a great meal for a child. But that's all they're getting, and that is what is really sad about the situation. I don't understand why people of the world don't understand how the suffering is great, especially among the children and the youth. And for the mothers, the mother herself, if you meet a mother in the village, you'll mostly see she's very slim weight. She doesn't look very good. She first takes care of the children, then she eats. She's the last person to eat. The husband eats, the children eat, the dog eats, the chickens eat, the cows eat, then the mother eats. So, but the children, what are they going to do? We, for example, were just at a school yesterday, I brought a professional basketball from America, and my goodness, you thought you gave them gold. They ran to the court and started playing basketball. They were so happy. Can't even, there is no activity for the children. I was going to try to get a professional basketball net, a court for them, but you know how expensive it is to mail that from America to Kosovo and Tokyo? I was so sad I couldn't do it, but because all I saw was a board and a basket rim made out of a tree. It was pathetic. I mean, but the children know how to survive. But these days of this suffering of humanitarian crisis, of being cold in your home, of being lack of food in your home, Really, how do the children take it? They love the church. The church is keeping them going. They go to church, and when they see the priest, they are so loving and so kind to the priest. They're joyful. The only thing they got left is what? Their family and the church. So there's two things that keep them alive. And so I feel that when I meet the children and the parents. Well, first of all, Serbians, when you leave a country, I mean, I know because my family or my grandparents were immigrants. It's a hard time to survive. First of all, you spend you work 7 days a week when you come from another country. If you work at whether you're making cheeseburgers or cleaning hospital rooms or cleaning a hotel, you stay there 7 days a week, 15 hours a day, and you work and you labor hard. First of all, the Serbs have to get on, when they come over from this country or any country, you have to, at least takes you 2 to 3 years to get on your feet. Once you get on your feet, then you'll be able to help other people. What I've discovered about the Serbian population, because I know I helped to organize the Serbian Orthodox Church in my city, with my church in Boise, Idaho. There's about 65 of them that left Bosnia, they left Herzegovina, they left Belgrade. They were in the war in Belgrade, they were in the war in Bosnia, they were in the war in Herzegovina. Goodness gracious, what do these people do all day? Just fight all day? What a sad thing that the Republic of Yugoslavia is going through. Just constant war and constant take my country, take my land. And so they are crying still for Serbia in America. They're crying because they went through that suffering of war and struggle. And so they're going to try to get on their feet so they can help their people get on their feet. The Serbian people in America are helping, as well as the Greek Orthodox are helping, and the American-born people are also helping our fund. So thank God we have raised enough money now to help the people in the past. What would Decani do if they didn't have this money? I mean, what would you do if you didn't have any potatoes, or if you didn't have any? What would you do if somebody stole your cow? And that's what they're doing here in Kosovo, in Kosovo and Metohija. My goodness. Well, I like to. If you're not going to ask me this question, I will tell you that they're stealing their cows, they're stealing their chickens, they're stealing their tractors. So what we told the people who have the tractor is to take the motor out and put it under the pillow. Take something out so you can't move it. Well, I mean, the chickens look like they have the flu. They're so skinny in the first place. Why would you want to take a chicken? You know, we don't grow chickens, we produce chickens. So the thing is, they're stealing their cows. How many cows? All of the cows. When you are driving down the highway on the road, on the right you will see where the new Kosovo people live. They live on the right, and there's 25 cows over there. Now where the Serbs live, there's 1 cow, and that man is sitting on the ground protecting that cow. He needs that cow. It's milk for him and his, and the Serbs here in Kosovo, they know how to, they share to give the milk to their neighbor. Now that means if the cow is stolen, how are they going to live? What are they going to give it for the children? What are we going to do about the milk? I remember one young man who was visiting from America. He lives in Kosh. The mother and the father, they picked him at the airport and said, "Well, my son, welcome home. We love you. We're glad to see you, but we have no cow. So we have no milk. So we'll have to just drink water." And you know, he was looking forward to the fresh milk. I believe if you really believe in God, you will know how to struggle, and you will know how to take care of your family, and you will know that today, to be a father and a mother today in this modern world, especially when you're in a war-torn humanitarian crisis in your own country, in your own villages, you are really struggling and you're really suffering, and you have to give that father really respect, or that mother who makes a lot of sacrifices for the sake of their family and for the sake of their country that they love. You have to give them a lot of respect, and that's through the grace of the church, of the Orthodox Church. The Serbian Orthodox Church is keeping them alive. There's nothing else keeping them alive. It is the love of the monks and the priests and the nuns and the monasteries. They're abundant all over Kosovo, Metohija. About more than 160 of these monasteries and churches have been destroyed. So now, where do you take your family for prayer? And how do you keep your family alive with this, when all this destruction of these churches and monasteries are gone? I can show you a piece of rock that I picked up yesterday from a destroyed church. And somebody asked me to pick this rock up to bring it back to America because they want to feel this grace that has happened in this country, in this area. When is the Western world and the Western man going to realize that God is very important to the people of the Serbian Orthodox people in Kosovo, Metohija? God is very important to these people because why do they have so many churches and monasteries? You think they just build them to make them look pretty? They're dead so they can go and pray. But now, where are they going to pray now when all the churches are on the ground and the rocks are on the ground? Well, what do you mean the rocks are on the ground? Well, those who occupy this country are even stealing the rocks of the destroyed churches and building houses. These churches are consecrated by God and the Holy Spirit. And this is where the family goes. But how can the family go when there's no church? So what did they do? When I visit these homes, I see them all living in the kitchen. Not the bedroom, not the parlor. You can't even go to the restroom. It's so cold in the winter here. I came 2 years ago in the winter. It was 30 below zero, and everybody lives in the kitchen. You have your icons in the corner. You have the couches along the wall. You have the table to eat, and you have the wood stove that cooks the food. And this is where you live with all the family. The family get really united. When there's suffering here, I've discovered the family really gets united and stays together, close together. The children here, I know they're hungry. I know they're hungry. They're hungry for food. They're hungry for God. They're hungry for education. And they're hungry just to pray and live. When I went to one school many years ago, do you know what the children asked me? Could you give me a basketball or a football or a frisbee? What do you do if you don't have one? We take paper and we put it together and we roll it up, and that's our baseball, and that's how we play. The kids know how to survive. But can you imagine that a child knows how to play and to live, but they suffer too when it's time to go to bed, when it's time to get some heat in their home. What if they don't have enough wood that day or to keep warm? We know you're suffering, and don't give up, and we will do everything to try to help you. So say your prayers, listen to your family, and don't give up. We love you.